For most of its history, the Caribbean has maintained a strong agricultural heritage while providing food for its people. Agriculture has and continues to contribute to the Caribbean's economy by providing employment within and outside of the sector. It is an important part of the social fabric of virtually every community and is critical to rural development. Its role is greater than its GDP as it forms the base of so many other sectors, including tourism and manufacturing. Within recent times, investments into the sector have been less than in the past, and infrastructural development threatens some aspects of production. However, with changes in the global food trade arena, food and nutrition security has become of great concern for the people of the region. Some of the challenges are increased global competition for available markets, changes in trade policies, low productivity, competition for arable lands from other sectors, and increased risks of weather due to climate change. The challenges to regional agriculture are worsened by the fact that in the Caribbean, most vegetable farming is characterized by seasonal production performed by subsistence farmers on small farm plots with very limited resources and often poor soils in difficult terrain. Despite their best efforts, these conditions understandably restrict the productivity of local producers and result in large quantities of food still being imported annually. To compound matters, some of the practices utilized adversely affect farming systems. Indiscriminate use of pesticides, farming on steep hillsides with minimal or no land conservation practices, as well as irresponsible land clearing using fire and resultant forest fires all threaten productivity and sustainability of the sector. One possible alternative to address the challenge of low productivity is protected agriculture, of which greenhouses are a type of protected system. Currently, most Caribbean countries have embraced protected agriculture as a means to increase the availability of vegetables. Key institutions such as CARDI, UWI, and the region's ministries of agriculture have embraced the technology as an option to achieve food and nutrition security. Year-round production that can be achieved through protected agriculture is critical for sustaining the market requirements and creating consumer confidence in local suppliers. For instance, the production of tomato during the wet season is limited by unfavorable conditions such as heavy rains, flooding, and strong winds, all of which result in flower knockoff and high incidence of diseases. These conditions significantly reduce tomato yields and affect market supply. The use of protected structures shield the crop against heavy rainfall and allows the farmer to continue farming with a much reduced risk of losses.
In the rainy season, you will get benefits of protect the flower. Like if you look at that now, you'll see how many, just because of the little rain that fell last week, you see how many flowers dropped down. But if you had cover, none of this flower won't drop. You see, by the cover of the greenhouse, you protect it. And in the greenhouse, actually with my experience, you will make triple of what you're doing outside.
Collectively, these protection advantages improve the quality and availability of local produce and have increased the opportunities for specialized marketing.
We provide the service of packaging and labeling and giving a brand to the farmer's product, which I think adds value to the product. Then we distribute the stuff for them, which saves them time and
money. Yeah. And our distribution network is fairly wide.
Yes.
It covers, we go into most hotels and supermarkets in Jamaica. So we have access there. which most farmers wouldn't have.
Yeah,
You know.
and what we're finding is if we can find a core group of farmers to work with, we can help them by forecasting what products are needed at what times of year.
Right.
And so they can schedule their planting around that.
One of the challenges with agriculture in Jamaica is that our peak production period does not coincide
Coincide with-
with our peak tourist season. So, you know, that in itself is a bit of a challenge. So a lot of times when their production is coming on strong, we have very little tourists in the hotels. You know, and then when the hotels are full in the winter months, there's very little production. So that is one of the challenges and this is definitely where
The
greenhouse
is-
technology can
is-
help.
Yes.
Because then that can even out those
Yes, with
peaks and valleys of our
valleys.
production.
Apart from marketing and those directly employed, other job opportunities are available through the industry, such as engineering, fabrication, and input distribution. These opportunities broaden the scope for youth who wish to seek employment in the sector.
Maybe 15 to 20 years down the line, maybe tourism or, you know, working in these factories, it won't be profitable to me. So I decided, well, you know, I'll study agriculture. I'll go more in depth into what my parents and my grandparents are doing, and there I am today, doing the greenhouse farming.
The lucrative potential of protected agriculture has encouraged business-minded people to invest in the sector.
I started like mostly for my home, like a little kitchen garden. But when I planted the first greenhouse, I got about 4,000 pounds of tomatoes, which I sold at $5, and I found that was very good. So I decided to go into it full time. And we bought 3 other greenhouses, which I took a little loan to pay it off. But at the end of the day, the crop was so good, so we paid off maybe in about 2 years' time, which the loan was given for 5 years.
My holding is approximately 43 acres. Initially, when I bought that place, I was thinking of cultivating monocrop, which is bananas, but then I decided to diversify. Since, you know, the way things are happening these days, you need to have a little of each. And I started with my diversification process, but realizing that there was limitations, particularly during the wet season, when there's certain crops that I could not grow because of too much water. You would appreciate that in the dry season you can put water, but in the wet season you have to take out water. And the improved way of doing that is by going to greenhouses, because it puts you in the dry season for the whole year.
However, the advantages can only be realized if the technology is adopted wisely. The farmer must select the appropriate design based on location, investment capital, crop, and available markets. Within the region, there are many types of protected structures, from basic plastic shade houses to technologically advanced multi-span structures with automated systems. Growing systems vary from soil to containers filled with inert media, this being very important in areas where arable land is not available. The predominant crops grown include tomatoes, sweet peppers, cucumbers,